Is teaching entrepreneurship in high school too soon or too late? What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Fervent 4. Did you know that only 4% of businesses ever cross the annual $1 million revenue mark? I'm Zack Miller, author of Anomaly. And with me today, I have my co-host, Tim Ryan, lead man at startwheel.org. Thank you so much for joining us. The Fervent 4 is a weekly show every Thursday, 11 a.m., dedicated to sharing insights into growing a world-class business no matter the climate. The Fervent 4 is powered by the SBDC, which helps local small businesses grow through counseling. If you're interested in learning more on how the SBDC can help your business, head to startwheel.org/weekly. For the past several years, one school in Virginia Beach is big believers in the right now for teaching business and entrepreneurship to the leaders of tomorrow. Please welcome Meghan Timlin, Ashley Hutchins, I think that was wrong, Evan Need, Tiana, and Mayana. How's it going?
Good morning, everyone.
Let's clap it up for everyone on the 6-7 person feed. This is incredible. Ashley, I'm sorry. I knew I was going to mess that up.
It's okay.
You know, when I had a TV show on ABC, I used to, when I knew I didn't want to say someone's last name or first name, I would just say, like, Ashley is with us today. So I guess I didn't take my own advice on that. So, well, welcome to the show. What's been going on for like the last
6 months?
6 months or so.
Oh, wow, it's been 6 months.
Well, clearly a lot has gone on here in education.
Yeah.
And we're all in different places.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so let's go from this is like Brady Bunch style. Okay, so I'm Zack. Hi, everyone. To my right, I think, is Tim. He's run for like 3,000 straight days. That might be an overzealous statement. We have Evan way over there. Hey, Evan. He didn't get the black T-shirt memo. He's wearing a.
Sorry.
Are you wearing a full suit? Are you wearing?
You guys should have added me to the group chat. What the heck?
We should have. Are you wearing shorts or are you wearing actual like suit pants?
Well, I'll let you decide, Zack. I think it's up to you to decide what is beneath the camera.
And below him over there is Meghan Timlin. What's up, Meghan?
Hi, Zack. Hi, Tim. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Ashley, are you in a school setting right now doing this?
Yes, I'm in my classroom here at the school.
I didn't know if you had transformed your office at home to have like this big whiteboard. You never know. You never know. And
No,
then
school.
below me, Tiana and Mayana, you guys went through the program at Kempsville and have both graduated now? You graduated?
Yes. We
like
graduated. We're class of COVID 2020. Yes.
2020. So let's start with you. Like, what was that experience like graduating when you didn't get to do, you know, what so many people said were like those major milestones, you know, go to your senior prom or actually walk across those things. I mean, do you care? Was it a big deal? Like what's
Well, we actually have different perspectives on it. I'll let her go first because she was more emotional. Okay, so
she really threw you under the bus there, like very. we want to hear the emotions out of this.
Okay, so I was very excited for prom and graduation and all of the really cool things that were supposed to happen. So the day I found out we were not walking the stage regularly and we weren't going back to school at all, I was driving and I literally like broke down crying in the middle of the highway. So, and I called Mayana and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And she was like, "I just want my diploma. I don't care." I was over at the, senior, gets a little bit unmotivated. You did 4 years of hard work. And it's like, okay, we're finally at the end. So you're like anticipating that last moment. And me, I was like, I just want my diploma. If I walk across the stage, if I have prom, I don't really care. Just give me the diploma. And then our summer camp was literally supposed to start the week after we graduated. So I was so devastated. We were like, if we don't walk the stage, then we're going to postpone BCI. Yes. And we didn't walk the stage. So we had to postpone something we had been working on for like 2 years. Yes. Which was sad. Oh my gosh. It was this was so devastating.
All right, Tim, do you remember graduating high school?
I think I can reach back that far, yeah.
The only thing I remember about my high school graduation is at the very end, some guy, the valedictorian speech was some guy who, God knows who it was. All he said was, the only thing you'll remember from this entire day is Fig Newtons. And that's all I've remembered ever since. So if it makes you feel better, 18 years later, I don't really remember it anyway. So maybe it wasn't that big of
Yes.
a deal.
Yeah. I think our graduation is going to be one to remember. We're going to be in the history books for this one.
That is definitely true. We're all in the history books, if you will. But,
Yeah.
all right. So Meghan, you got into the whole Kempsville Entrepreneurship and Business Academy. How did that whole thing come about?
Oh, well, we have a visionary of a superintendent in Aaron Spence, who really wanted to create an entrepreneurial ecosystem here in Virginia Beach to help drive, small businesses, new businesses, to really just teach entrepreneurship at the young students. And so in cooperation with him and our school board, this academy was brought to life. We were given the opportunity to be a part of it. My background was a marketing teacher, and I just happened to have the administrative background as well. And they were looking for someone who also knew Kempsville, because our school has been around for a while, but it was one of like 3 that didn't have an academy program, and they were targeting us specifically for this program. And so it was just a great fit. And I've really been here since we proposed the program back in October of 2015. And we've had approval since then. And we've done everything that we said we were going to do, even through COVID. So I'm in my 6th year, but we're in our 5th year of having students in a program.
And is the academy doing something unique to all the other cities and counties in the area? Is Virginia Beach the only one that has something like that? And can you very briefly explain what an academy is?
Yeah, so we're not the only ones. There are some academies in some of our surrounding cities, but academies in Virginia Beach are basically programs at high schools where they're a school within a school where students apply and they get in and they can live anywhere in the city but be a part of these programs. And we have 8 in Virginia Beach aligned with our high schools.
If I had to ask you what all 8 were, could you do that?
Yeah, I can. I actually been working with the other coordinators this morning, so I actually probably could.
I'm not going to make you do that. We're not going to put you onto the test today.
Thank you.
At least not with that. Tim?
Well, I was waiting to hear all 8, but I'm just kidding. No, so what's the size of the class in terms of the academy size?
How many students do we currently have? Yeah. We have 9 through 12. We have about 440 students in our program right now. 500 is our max. I can have 125 per class. So
a class is like a grade?
A grade level, yeah. So 9th graders, 125. And we lose based on, people move out of the area, it fluctuates. People decide they're interested in something else.
How dare them move?
I know. This is so applicable no matter what you want to do in life.
Sure.
So Ashley, how old? Actually, I'm not supposed to do this. Okay, so when I went to high school, the closest thing they had was maybe an extracurricular thing like a DECA. Maybe they taught economics or something like that. I know Tim didn't have this when he was in school because he and I talked about it before. But Ashley, Meghan, did they have anything like this when you guys went through school?
So yeah, we had marketing, we had fashion marketing, and Miss Timlin was my, we have leadership and social development. And so I took marketing in high school. That's kind of what got me interested in this. And what made me decide I wanted to teach marketing. And Miss Timlin was one of the marketing teachers at the time when I was in school.
You don't look thrilled by that comment, Meghan.
It's okay. You know what? I hire a lot of people who were my former students. I'm hoping to hire Mayana one day. Not that I wouldn't hire Tiana or Evan, but I have a feeling they're going to be doing other things. But I like to hire people I know and I've worked with, and Ashley's a great hire.
Did you go to school in Virginia Beach, Ashley?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually here at Kempsville.
Wow, that's
we're all Kempsville grads, or will be, Evan.
That is very unique to go back and teach at the place where you walked the high schools. Wow, interesting. Okay, so I'm interested in whether or not entrepreneurship can be taught, period. What are your thoughts? Anyone can answer.
Well,
okay, I think
girls, you want to answer?
I definitely think it can be taught. We were in Miss Houghton's strand.
Mhm.
And I mean, I've always been outspoken, but I can honestly say if it was not for the Academy, we wouldn't have BCI. Like I would not be where I am today. Entrepreneurship can definitely be taught. We have a medium successful business. We're getting there.
Mhm.
And they kind of taught us everything we know as far as running a business and how to network and what to do. They taught us to always take every opportunity given to you. And I feel like that's the most important part about entrepreneurship.
Yeah, because entrepreneurship is not just a career.
Mhm.
It's more so of a lifestyle.
I was about to say as a lifestyle.
All the skills that you kind of gather and embed while learning it, it becomes like you can take that for the long run. Like I'm in insurance right now. And most of the things that I've learned in entrepreneur, I watch my boss and how she operates her business, and she's an entrepreneur. And it's like all those skills is like it's being re-implemented in the things that I do in my everyday life. So it's not just a career; it's a lifestyle. So.
Yes.
And BCI is what? That's your organization? Tell me, what do the 3 letters stand for?
It stands for Build, Care, Inspire. It's a summer camp for kids with incarcerated and deceased parents.
And,
Yes.
and how did that whole thing come about?
Ooh, okay.
The quick.
Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, like I said, we were in the entrepreneurship and innovation strand. So 10th grade, it was 4 of us. The camp made no sense. We went to pitch night. It was so horrible. Me and Mayana decided to continue. The funniest part about how BCI got started is we brung Miss Timlin $1,000 in a shoebox, and she told us to hurry up and put it in the bank. But we bootstrapped the money to get it started, and yeah, we changed the name and we just kept going.
What do you mean you had it in a shoebox? Like you would raise that money or something?
Yeah,
Yes, it was cash.
Yeah, to move forward into the next, I guess you say next section of the entrepreneurship and innovation strand, you had to bootstrap $1,000 by a certain date. So me and Mayana set up shop at my mom's restaurant, and we sold slushies for about 3 weeks, and we raised $1,000 and we put it in a shoebox and we brought it to Kempsville.
We
don't recommend or teach that method. I told them to immediately go to a bank from here.
Yes, you did.
But even that's a valuable lesson. You open your business bank account, and you all are more successful than most people that are trying to start a business. They don't even hit their $1,000 mark.
I mean, like just having the, the drive to try to reach a dollar amount of that, even though you guys might say it's, not a lot of money, or maybe it's a ton of money. Like most people will find an excuse as to not even trying to make $1, whether or not that ever becomes $1,000, $10,000, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, etc. So that's very cool.
So
Evan.
Ivan, sort of piggybacking off what they had to say, I think that in terms of like, can entrepreneurship be taught or not? I think that entrepreneurship, or sort of the idea is it's more of a mindset, really. Like what they said, sort of it being a lifestyle. I think that just sort of the ideas can be introduced to students. But again, it is like up to the students to determine if like that's something they want to, go through and do. I can attest that there are plenty of students in Miss Houchin's class and my class that have definitely been influenced by the ideas that they've, but the teachers have put forward. But I can also say that there are students who are, more so apathetic about sort of entrepreneurship. And so I think that it's sort of like up to the students to be equally receptive to the ideas. So,
I think that's great, because I think my guess is Ashley, Megan, myself, and Tim all grew up in the path that we were told to go. My guess is that was go to school, go to college, then from college, go get a job and work yourself up. And then you do that path. Right. And so that to me is something that in the last 10 years or so, I think because of Shark Tank becoming this show, has really glorified entrepreneurship and made it very popular, buzzwords that people would get into something like this. And so I think that's great that people can have that mindset, think entrepreneurially, where before it was, hey, go work for the man and do this, when actually now the world is saying, be your own, the man, if you will.
Hey, I'm curious.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Tim.
No, I was just curious.
But yeah, Eddie, that's all, folks. No, I'm just kidding.
Go ahead.
I just think it's really, for us, it's about exposure for the students. And I think Evan hit on it. Like, some of our students come here and they realize that that this is not what they want to do. And I feel like that's just as important as figuring out what it is you do want to do. And so our job is to really expose them to a lot of different opportunities and what entrepreneurship could look like, because it looks very different depending on what you choose to do.
One of the big things that we don't ever want to see anyone fail, but if you're going to fail fast, so that you don't empty your bank account in the process of doing it and waste a ton of time in the process. So that's huge. The question that I had is do most of the students, is there like a waiting list almost to get involved in this program, or how was it beginning the Academy, or can you expand on that a little bit?
We have a waiting list each year of students who apply and want to get in. Our application numbers over the last 5 years have steadily increased, which is great for us. I will say really big. When we first started, that first class that TT or Tayana and Mayana were a part of, we had large numbers and a lot of kids that really wanted to be a part of it. And that's steadily increased over time. And we accept more than 125 to get to our 125, since there is competition in our market, as there's 8 other programs that students can be a part of here in Virginia Beach. But our goal is to get to 125, and we have students on a waiting list to get into this current class based on numbers. So, Zack, you're muted.
Yeah. Evan, I hear that you have a business that has been featured on multiple media channels, and you are quite the character. Unique is a word that...
Yes, unique is a word that's thrown around by some administrators, but I won't name names.
Right, top right corner. Yeah. What do you like? Does the word unique, is that a good identifier of you, or what's the word what's your word choice?
What's my word choice to describe myself? I don't know. That's kind of tough. That kind of reminds me of this thing in like freshman year where they're like, use like one adjective to describe you that starts with like the first letter of your name. I can't even remember. It was like, I forgot what the word meant, but it was something like mysterious, but it started with an E. What was it called? It was like eponymous or something like that. I can't remember the exact word, but no, sure. I think unique is a good way to describe me. Sure, why not? I'll take it.
So what got you into kind of the business world? How did you kind of get introduced to it? And then what are you working on?
Yeah, so I sort of got introduced when I was in middle school. I made these like cookie cakes and like bakery stuff for like my friends for their birthdays. And like one day I was talking to this kid and he was like, I'll buy that from you for $10. And I was like, okay. And then I realized that the profit margins were pretty good. So I started doing that, and it was called like Evans Eats or something. And I made like $200 gross profit. And so it was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I saw the Entrepreneurship and Business Academy, and I thought that might be pretty nice. And so I applied to that and I got in. And then after that, in my freshman year, I started this nonprofit called Planting Shade, which at this point now is this international environmentalist movement, where we give teens the abilities to like start like their own little chapters and plant 1,000 trees. We've already planted 2,000 in Virginia Beach, and we have chapters in like Australia and Colorado and North Carolina. And so that's sort of like my biggest entrepreneurial success so far. But right now I'm in Miss Houchin's class, which is this sort of accelerator course. And my team is sort of pivoting from this veterinary supplement that we're working on into this like new social networking site, which is very exciting. So that's what I'm working on right now.
I would say Evan's a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah. So serial as in CEREAL, or
no, like, I don't like serial murderer, but like serial killer, but like I don't kill people. I start companies. I kill the competition. That's what I do. I kill the competition.
Oh. And this is why he's unique, ladies and gentlemen. I have never met anyone quite like him.
Thanks. I'll take it. I hope that's a good thing.
I believe that the people who seem to, if you were to really look at some of the most successful people in the world, they're all very unique and very, very, very much like an anomaly. And I think
that's like your book, Anomaly.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Which just so happens to be right here. A little.
Wow, that's great. You can send us all copies.
Yeah, maybe I will. Tim.
So what happens when the students graduate? Have you found that the students continue on with their businesses? What happens once that happens?
Well, Tim, we're still early on in that process as they just graduated in June. TT and Tiana, I guess she's calling herself now. She was TT in high school, so I refer to her as that. They've continued, or they want to continue with BCI. Clearly, they had it planned where they were going to offer a camp this past summer, and that's that. But that didn't happen. But I would imagine they're still going to pursue that. But we would have to ask them. A lot of our students are in college right now. Some 2-year, some 4-year institutions. Anxious to see kind of what happens. It'd be good to come back in 5 years and kind of see where they are now and what our students have done. It's a little early to project what's actually going to come from all of this.
Yeah, one thing that I want to, you both, Mayana, Tiana, and Evan, they brought up something that was really interesting. So slushies. What you just went out and did it. I mean, how much time did you spend on what flavor do I come out with, or did you just roll with it and see what people wanted?
Well, I don't know about Evan, but me and Mayana really just went to Food Lion and just did a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah,
it's like from freshman year, me and TT we always really work really collaborate together.
Yeah.
So like, if she has an idea, most likely it always starts with her. It'll jump back to me. I'll add my 2 cents. And like, that's just our planning and how we work. And that's what we do like to this day. Like she'll call me, she'll text me, and I just kind of implement, do the research. And that's just how we, go about doing things. So the idea just, I don't know, it just happened.
I literally called her, like I said, 3 weeks before we had to turn the money in. And I said, hey, we kind of got to do something now. Yeah. And I was like, well, I got a blender. Oh, let's go to Food Lion. No, we started with cupcakes. Yes. And we were like, let's do something because it's hot. And then we went to Food Lion and bought the mixed stuff and just started making slushies.
Everybody loved it. They would always, the customers that would come, they would come like 3 times a day, 2 times a day. They would give us their like forte, like,
mix it with this.
Yeah, mix it with that, mix it with that. So we did what they like, and more people started to just buy it. And I think that's what we learned in Entrepreneur as well. Like,
yeah.
What do your customers want? Like,
the demographic of where you are and stuff. Like, it got to the point when we stopped, people would call my mom's restaurant and be like, are the slushy girls there? Yeah. And she wanted me to come back, but that wasn't her.
Evan, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was in middle school, and I guess I had a penchant for baking then. And so I just, I made like cookie cakes, and everyone liked those. And then I like did other stuff. It was all very like standard. Like I just got like chocolate, vanilla, like cookie cake, and I would make this thing called Cake Apocalypse. And I still make like everyone in my family, like this is what like we make them like for their birthday. It's like a layer of vanilla, a layer of brownie cake, and then a layer of cookie cake. And it's like this 9-inch cake, and we make our own icing. It's this whole thing. But everyone, like all the customers, like all the students, like they were familiar with all the flavors. And so they just told me what they wanted, and I got it for them relatively quickly and inexpensively. And so in terms of that, at least, it was very lean startup, as Ms. Houchins likes to say.
Interesting. All right, ladies. So historically, selling something in a school is something that's very frowned upon. But now you guys are teaching, I think, kids to students to sell in school. So how do you get that through the the principals, the superintendents, the other teachers to be like, hey, like this is what we're teaching. This is acceptable. How do you get through that, Ashley?
So we actually none of our student businesses have started selling product at the school, as far as like what the girls and Evan were saying with like the cakes and the slushies. And I just want to kind of clarify a little bit with what TT and Mayana were talking about. So the class that I teach first for the kids is called Incubator. And so they're in groups, they're coming up with business ideas, they're testing it, with customers, they're doing a lot of surveys, they're trying to figure out, is this a viable idea? Could I make money off of this? We end that class with a big pitch night where we give away about $25,000 to the top teams, split amongst the top teams that we feel like could actually bring that business to life. Those teams that get funded get to move on to the next class, which is called Accelerator, where they're actually using the money that they were given to start their business. So if a team does not get funded on pitch night, they have the option of raising the money themselves. And so when Ms. Timlin said earlier that selling the slushy thing, that's not typically what we recommend. We want them to go out and find, investors that believe in their business idea and want to be a part of that. But TT and Mayana were so driven and they wanted their business to work and were willing to put in the effort to do it. So they decided to sell their slushies to raise money to get into the next level class. So like I said, we haven't had kids selling like food items and stuff at the school because we're really not, like you said, we're not really allowed to be doing things like that.
Allowed. So it's interesting there. So oftentimes in business, the plan doesn't happen the way that you want to. It sounds like that's not the way that Tiana and Mayana wanted to happen, right? They wanted to go to pitch night, make the 25K or a portion of the 25K, but it didn't happen. And so instead of just throwing in the towel and calling it a quit, they figured out a way to get back on the field and make something happen. And so is that just something, that grit, that resiliency is instilled in you two, or like how does that come out? Because I think a lot of people would literally take the towel and throw it in and be like, I'm done.
And based on the judges' feedback that they got that night, the fact that they kept going is so impressive.
Well, here's my feedback. Don't ever listen to a judge who's not your customer. So
yeah. It is. It's just something that's kind of instilled in us. Like we I don't want to say taught, but it was just a part of my life to never really give up. Like if you're thrown a curveball, you just kind of go around it. So we could admit that at the time it was called Teens for Teens and it really didn't make sense. Well, the night we got the news that we didn't make it, we were hurt and we felt like it made sense. But the longer we sat down and talked about it, we were like,
more emotional when you found out that you weren't going to walk across the stage of graduation, or when you got the bad feedback? Because you seem to be an emotional person. I'm
I am a very emotional person, and oh wow, that's a hard question. I would say when I found out that we weren't having prom and graduation, because I knew that if we didn't get funded at pitch night, like we said, we could bootstrap the money or raise the money somehow to move on. But if I didn't go to prom, I was never going to prom. I think I was more emotional finding out that I was class of COVID 2020 than I was about not getting funded.
Yeah, I'm completely opposite. I'm more of a competitive person.
Yes,
so when I lost, it felt like I wasn't gonna graduate. It felt like my life was over. So the judges, they struck me and it made me kind of want to persevere and prove them wrong. And then we got the opportunity to meet Bruce again, and he helped, and we presented to Pharrell, which was an opportunity that was just amazing because we kind of persevered, showed him, he was happy for us that, hey, I remember you guys.
You guys didn't make sense back then.
And now,
Pharrell said that?
No,
Bruce Thompson.
Bruce Thompson is our large donor who donates $25,000 towards our pitch night. He's a large hotelier in this area. So Bruce comes here and does work with the students here at the school, and they have to pitch what they've done basically with his money that he donated. And Ms. Halchins made E.T. and Mayana pitch to him, and they were like, I don't want to pitch back to him. Like, he didn't give us any money. Like, we pitched to him, and she made them do that, and it was right on the cusp of something in the water happening 2 years ago, and he heard them pitch and their idea. And I will say, I think that's a word that hasn't been used around them, is the passion. Like, they really just have a passion for what they're doing, and I think that has made a real difference for them, and they showed that passion, and he felt like this is something Pharrell needs to hear. And he basically made that happen, where they had a private pitch at the Cavalier with Pharrell. Share their idea.
Yeah, we pitched a lot. That was probably the most nervous I have ever been to do a pitch since I was a freshman in high school. That was so nerve-wracking, but once we got it done, it was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
How long of a pitch was it to Pharrell?
Yeah, maybe I don't want to say 10 minutes, like 8 maybe. It wasn't long.
Q&A after.
Yeah. So like we pitched for like maybe 3 or 5 minutes, and then they had questions and stuff like that.
Yes.
Very cool. Well, I'll give you all a plug to an event called Start Peninsula. And if you're not familiar with it, take a look. Startpeninsula.com is the website, and that is a pitch competition. Next one, actually, the next one is next Tuesday on the 22nd of September. Applications are open for that, and then there's another one on October 13th, and those are 2 events where the top pitchers will then advance to a final event in November, and top 3 winners will each receive $5,000 in seed funding. But that would be a great opportunity for anybody with an area code, and we've really been looking for ways to bring in high schoolers, because we really see the need to teach this and bring on younger folks. So take a look and look to see if you can incorporate that into your program.
Okay. We most definitely will.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, and that sounds like a good opportunity for our accelerator students, where Evan currently is. Because based on how, COVID in the year ended, we were not able to have our annual pitch night. We were not able to give out $25,000. It didn't feel like a time where we could ask a donor who also was trying to open a hotel at the oceanfront to ask him for money to do a virtual pitch. And we didn't know what the landscape was going to look like. So, I think that's a good opportunity for our current students, Ms. Halchins.
Okay, so you said something I think is interesting. So you just said, due to COVID, we didn't know what the landscape was, right? So let's remove COVID from that sentence and say, we don't know what the landscape is. Like, it seems like you never really know what the landscape is anyway, right? And so how do you kind of forecast what that could look like so that these students can be as successful as possible? Because, COVID or not, I think you could remove that from a lot of what we're hearing in the last 6-7 months or so. And if you were just to remove COVID, it might not have been that much of a different of a year from some of the headlines that you would have seen. Restaurant closed, business closed, right? Oh, it's due to COVID, right? And I think we all will probably agree to that. But those things happen anyway. So you can't kind of forecast, or how do you forecast the future when you don't really know what's going to happen anyway?
Yeah, I think that it was at the time of where we were, we hadn't seen it done, and we didn't have any background as to what that was going to look like. I think now we know what we can do. We actually did have the students last year pitch to our board of advisors at the end of the year. So we did do a virtual pitch where they created a video of their business. And then we did have the investors or the advisors pick a certain number of teams who they felt like had potential to then move on this year. And hence that's how we made up Ashley's class. We just didn't give the students money at the time. And right now, Ashley has worked really hard and is working really hard to get to get the students now in a place where they do a video pitch for funding owner so that we are able to have them move these business ideas forward. So I think at the time we didn't understand the landscape. It hadn't been done yet. We've now seen it done, and we now understand it a little bit more to be able to do it. I think everyone was in a bit of a crisis as we were shutting down school. We were worried about our seniors. I'm not going to lie, PT and Mayana, we all shed a lot of tears over not being able to graduate that first class the way we thought we were going to. And a lot of the focus, how do we graduate kids? How do we finish the school year? We were very much in an emergency mode, where now we are very much in a mode of like, how are we making our program work despite what everything looks like?
Yeah, I mean, those emotions we know are real because they're emotional. She's emotional. Hey, I'm just, yes, I'm picking on you. I apologize. However, you started it, and I think it's adding a little bit of flair. Evan, are you worried about what you're a sophomore, junior? What year are you?
I'm a junior right now.
So, I mean, do you worry about having to go what your classmates had to go through? I mean, is that in your mind?
I'm sorry. So are you asking, am I worried about like not walking the aisle or like walking the
Yeah, I mean, like the things in high school that, your family and your friends have told you about, your teachers have told you about for your entire life that might not happen. Like, does that matter to you? Does it care?
I'm in general, I'm not really concerned about that. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not an epidemiologist, so I don't know like how Corona is going to go or anything like that. But in general, my ability to, like hang out with friends or, go do social events. Like I'm the president of like my like local youth groups chapter, and we're doing like a paintball excursion in like a couple weeks. So, I mean, in terms of like social aspects, I'm not really concerned about that. I would be though concerned about like other students who like, don't have a car or anything like that, or younger, or maybe like I feel bad for like the kids who, didn't have summer programs and all their extracurriculars are canceled and they're still online and they can't hang out with friends. And so that's a really bad situation. But luckily I'm working on a startup that is trying to, stop that problem in its tracks. It's this social networking site. It's like the best thing in the world. I can't believe I came up with it. But it's this thing called like Hey You. And the way it works is that you meet, different types of people throughout your area. And it's like, do you want to be friends? Do you want to do this or that? And it's very fascinating. We're on the App Store in a couple weeks. So you should totally look out for that, Zack. It's very
okay. So is that your pitch?
Yeah, well, I've just started the pitch. We just changed like this week. It's funny you mentioned that. I have this like really great idea for a starting pitch. Do you want to hear it? It's like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think as the most unique person on this feed, I think it would be integral for you to have a really solid pitch right now.
I understand that. It's a little bit difficult to explain just because the concept isn't like completely finished. But it's
is the Hey You from the hit Pink Floyd song?
No, it's not. It's not from the Pink Floyd song. I actually haven't heard that. But pretty much in general, you get to meet different types of people, and it's the way that you meet the different types of people is organized throughout different levels. So like, let's say you're meeting here. Can I just show you? Can I just share my screen or something like that? Is that a possibility?
Find out live and in color, apparently. Let's see if you can do it.
Can you try that? Can I share my screen?
I don't know.
Share. Yeah. Hello. Do you see my screen?
Nope.
You do not? All right. It says, all right, never mind then. I will stop sharing. But anyway, so it's a little difficult to explain people that aren't in my generation. But the way it works is that there are 3 different levels. We're actually completely changing the design.
Well, wait. We're not going to figure this out. We're not going to understand it anyway, right? You just told us that people that are not in your generation don't understand. It's
impossible to explain to people in my.
So how about this? There's a new app on the App Store coming from the Evan Need, the most unique person on this 4-person screen right now.
Yeah.
And if you type in Hey You on the App Store, within a couple of weeks, you will likely see it and you will be mind blown.
Your mind will literally be blown.
And to see Miss Timlin, as you call her, it looks like crying as you are performing right now. What's going through your mind to see something like that?
She's probably embarrassed because I haven't finished my pitch yet. I like promoting the stuff I'm working on, but I'm barely done with the pitch. Like
He's
all
pure entertainment. I've come to terms with that. My retirement, I'm going to be working for him, so it is what it is.
Will you pay her well, Evan?
I mean, I'll see if I can fit her on my payroll. You know, we'll see if I have the budget for that once she retires. Maybe I can just have her as like a consultant or something like that.
There you go, Evan.
Yeah.
The greatest part about that is she didn't care about anything that you just cared. She was just like, I need to be on your staff, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah. You know, we need teachers.
I'm pretty sure that all three of the former students on here are destined for greatness. So I'd work for any of them.
That's great. Ashley, I'm interested in your thoughts on this statement. I believe that coronavirus has really just accelerated things that were going to happen in the next 7 years anyway. Do you think that the educational system was moving more towards the digital the digital classroom anyway? Or do you think that was something that was that thought on me is way bonkers, and the classroom is always going to be in person in the kind of way that it's traditionally been?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of things that we have had to shift to, with the way that we teach because of the situation that we're in, that I do agree we would have been moving in that direction anyways. Really just being able to Zoom with your class and everybody log in and do, the class that way. In the last couple years, my class is very much based on you working with your team on your business. And so I've had students, if they're absent, the team has them on FaceTime here in the class working with their team. If they're at home not feeling well or whatever the case, if they're out of town, they're in the class virtually working with their team. So we've been doing things that are like that anyways. And I think that, more and more, we're relying more on the technology piece and connecting. We have business partners who would love to work with our students that aren't here in Virginia Beach. So we're able to, have them log in via Zoom and do a session on the screen when the class is there. So yes, I definitely think that we would have been moving in this direction more and more so anyways.
One of the things that I find really fascinating is to think or to look at what the labor force is going to look like in 20 years from now. And a lot of the jobs that are in existence today are not going to be there tomorrow due to artificial intelligence or robotics. Is that part of the curriculum that you all have? So, I think that the people that go through your academy have a leg up because, they're able to start businesses and they're able to be the decision makers as opposed to falling victim to whatever job is eliminated next. Is that something that you all think about?
Do you want to go, Ashley?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know.
I think for sure. Yeah. It is what we think about. We look at the trends constantly and we have our students looking at the trends, which is a different way to think for a young person is how, to age myself. We have to get them to think of like outside of just what the here and now is what's going to happen in the next week, but what's going to happen in the future and get them to think that way. And so I think the fact that our students are taught to forecast and look at the future and look at the trends, I think that they will be better off in the future because they know that what's happening or they know how to look at those things.
Ashley, and that's something we kind of, I know for me, like from my perspective, when we first started this program, I was really just more focused on, okay, let's brainstorm, what ideas do you have for potential businesses? And it was missing that forecasting piece, that looking at trends. And so my very first year, I had a lot of business ideas that were very much just in a high school, like their little bubble. Like I had groups that were like, I lose my pencil. Like we need a product that will help me remember my pencil, and it's like, when they really did the research and looked, is this a viable idea? They really came back and were like, well, no, people don't really, there's not like a wide customer base that wants this product that's going to, do this thing. So through time in teaching the class, now we really start off the year with what is happening, in our community, what's happening, around the world, and what is something, that is trending, and they kind of take that into consideration. They still are operating within their own little bubble, but we really encourage them to be looking at those types of things.
So is it fair to say that historically the way that a curriculum was developed is look at the jobs of now and think that the students will go into that job, and now you guys are saying that you're looking at what kind of job is a student potentially going to be in that might even not be here yet, and incorporating and collaborating with them to really teach towards that. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. And how to create their own opportunities, because looking at the needs that are out there for not just themselves, but for other people, because that's what entrepreneurship is all about. It's right. It's filling a need in an area where, people are going to want to buy or purchase a product. So I think that getting them to think in that direction is probably one of the most important things that we do. And unfortunately, through school, if you go through 12 years, right, like it's kind of like test, you got to get these grades to get into this college. It's still like that. And they get into our classes, and I'll tell you what, even as ninth graders, they struggle because we're having them critically think about, like, there's not a bubbled answer of A, B, or C, or D that's right. It's, how do you critically think about these problems, these issues, these needs, to develop a solution around them? And that's very anti what education has been for the last couple years. I definitely think we're trending more in this direction as a whole, but we definitely encourage the students to think differently here.
And if you really think about business has 50,000 answers to it, which is not what the, quote unquote, what the norm would be. And so I think that's interesting that would be done that way, because I think that's how in the real world, that's the answer, right? It's not the answer isn't, A. The answer is A to Z times 4.
So do you all think that you will catch heat, if you will, if when some students graduate from high school and they opt to start their own business versus go to college?
No, I hope they do. I really want them. I want them to pursue what they are interested in pursuing. I think there's definitely a population who are looking at academy programs and want to see that our students are getting accepted into these top universities. So that becomes something that I have to promote just to attract an audience in. But I definitely hope that I also, on the flip side of that sheet of, the 4-year institutions that our students are going to, I hope on the flip side, I'm like, these are also the businesses they created, and this is where they are now.
That's great. What are some of the goals? So I think that you've proven your model, this being the 5th year. What are some of the longer term goals that you would like the Academy to accomplish in the next 5 years?
I really hope that we see in the next 5 years, some of our students actually have some businesses that take in revenue and profit. We really haven't seen that model yet. Selfishly, I'd actually like to graduate a class the way we're supposed to. We haven't been able to do that yet. Just selfishly, I'd like to be able to see those students through that process and what it was supposed to look like. But we want to see students really become entrepreneurs and be able to provide them the network and the connections that they need to make their ideas happen. And some of it is also we're attracting the right students in. The students like the Evans and the Mayanas and the Ty, really can take an idea with some passion and grit run with it.
Yeah, we definitely need more people like me. I definitely agree with you, Ms. Timlin.
I think you're one of a kind, which is another way of saying unique. I'm good with one of you, but I'd like, we want to make sure kids are here for the right reason.
Just like little midget versions of me, like that can like run around like mini me's,
Wonderful.
Like that's what you.
Let's play a game. Okay, let's say we all have masks on. We're all practicing social distancing, and we go to the grocery store. We go down the ice cream aisle. If any of you are lactose intolerant, I'm apologizing for what I'm about to say. You are? Well, then pick something else. But I'm interested in just like a word or two. What type of ice cream you would pull out of the freezer section?
Coffee.
Like cookies and cream.
Yeah, cookies and cream.
Coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would have coffee ice cream even though you can't eat it because you're lactose intolerant. So
I eat it all the time.
She definitely does not care that she's lactose intolerant.
not a rule follower. Tim, what kind of ice cream would you be?
I'm like either a cookie dough or a Moose Tracks kind of guy.
So you're like a Rocky Road kind of guy?
No, not a big nut guy with ice cream, but chocolate with some something in there.
All right, Ashley.
I love coffee ice cream. We
Wow.
have it in our freezer like all the time at my house.
What? Okay, Megan, what's yours, real quick?
A very specific fish food by Ben and Jerry's. I love
That's
that.
always a top choice. Yeah.
Is that the one that has like Swedish fish in the?
But they're chocolate.
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that, but we'll see. Okay, so explain this coffee ice cream to me, Ashley, because I'm not familiar.
It's just coffee flavored ice cream. They have it in like many brands. Like Breyers has one. Turkey Hill has one.
Y'all throwing shade at me for that question? I mean, that's what I'm hearing.
Is it caffeinated?
Yeah, is it caffeinated?
I think so.
You don't even know what you're eating. Okay, I got you. See, I got you right back. There it is. Shade prone. Evan, cookies and cream. Why?
Well, actually, I don't know. I mean, cookies and cream in general, but there's this really good ice cream place on like 20th Street. It's called like Kilwins or something. It has this just like amazing blueberry waffle cone ice cream. It's like so great. I tried to sort of I tried like making my own version. It was like, what was it? It was like I made a blackberry chocolate chip version. It wasn't as good, but no, definitely the blueberry waffle cone. I think that's I changed my answer. I think that's like my defining like summer treat. Or at least it was like this summer. But I mean, just cookies and cream tastes good in general. Like you know what you're eating every time. You know?
There you go. Yes or no answer. Will Halloween be canceled in 2020?
Like trick or treating?
Yeah.
No.
Halloween.
No.
Yeah, I think so. I don't see them letting kids walk around and like literally go to people's
Hey,
houses.
it's yes or no. Yes or no. Not I think. It's no. Okay. It's
Tim?
no.
Well, I can't answer yes or no. I think that yes, by the government, but no, there'll be like cul-de-sac type of neighborhood events that go on privately.
Well, under the radar Halloween action.
Yes.
Ashley, what do you think?
I agree with I agree with Tim. I think there's not you know they're gonna say that you really can't be trick or treating, but I hope that people just still kind of walk around the neighborhood. I have a brand new baby that was born in April, so I want to be able to like have her first Halloween.
There you go.
You can still dress her up.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm posting on Facebook, let the world see it, get 76 likes, like, oh my God, he or she is so cute, yay, woo. Tim?
Who do you all turn to so Evan, yeah, we'll start with you. In terms of inspiration, who is your entrepreneurial idol, so to speak?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on like, it actually is sort of dependent on the different like type of company that I'm working on at that time. I think like right now it's probably like Steve Jobs and like Evan Spiegel. He's from Snapchat, but I guess like sort of those people I would put as as like my inspiration, just because it's sort of, you know, interesting to like imagine yourself like in their shoes and, yeah, I guess I sort of turn to them for inspiration. I like watch YouTube videos of their speeches and stuff like that.
Ladies?
I would have to say Virgil Abloh. He's a fashion designer for Off-White. I just like the creative design that he brings, and He's just creative. He has a diverse team of different people, and I like his design. So Virgil.
I don't think I have one. I come from a long line of like restaurant owners, so I guess you could say my family.
Interesting.
Do you want to, Ashley, who would you do on that one?
So I interpreted the question kind of similar to how Tiana did. I really like my go-to people are our board of advisors that we have, for my incubator class. We have 6 board of advisors who are here locally who are really willing to help me with any, like if I have a team who's working in some area that I have no idea even how to help them or how to answer their questions, they are just so quick to help me out. And if they don't know, they connect me to somebody, in their network that does. So they're kind of my go-to group.
Miss Timlin, as Evan calls you.
Yeah, I mean, really a little bit of what everyone has said. I mean, I think that it's important to study, the history of some of these folks who have really made it big and done a lot of great things. And I also think our local folks have been so good to us. And I mean, there's just a lot of inspiration that you draw from just knowing local entrepreneurs. The teacher that is in the office next to me, her family owns restaurants here in Hampton Roads, and they have been such supporters of us, and it's just been cool to not only employ her as a teacher and a faculty member, but to know her family and her family's business, and really draw from what they're doing and how they're making it through times like this. And so inspiration's everywhere.
All right, that made me think of one, at least last round robin question. Let's paint a picture again. You are on vacation. Let's say that you're in Jamaica and it's January of 2021. You're sitting on the beach enjoying the sun, and you meet someone and they say, "Where are you from?" What is your answer? We'll start with you, Evan.
I swear. Probably I would just say America. Just like make it vague. You don't even need to say North America. And so you're just like, wow, how exotic, America. Scary. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'd probably just say America, honestly.
All
Maybe
right.
Virginia if they are also American.
Okay. Tiana, Mayana?
I would just say Virginia.
Me too. I
That's
would
like
just
my
say
first
Virginia.
initial thought, because I really do this. So I would just
If you
say
had to go a little
Virginia.
bit deeper, like to the area where we live, what would you say?
Oh yeah, I would definitely say the beach, because to me personally, that either Arlington or Fairfax area or Virginia Beach, those are my favorite areas. I like Virginia Beach. I like the beach, and I would kind of compare like Jamaica Beach to Virginia Beach just to spice things up.
I would honestly, I would forget. I wouldn't think about the fact that I'm in Jamaica. I would just be like, Virginia. And if they continue to ask questions, then I would build on that.
Ashley?
I would say Virginia Beach. And then probably I would have to backtrack and then say, well, that's in Virginia.
That's
Yeah,
in
like
America.
Evan said, that's in America. I would probably have to backtrack. I feel like I get so like literal with my answers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Megan?
Oh, I would be the same as Ashley. I'm fairly literal. So it would be Virginia Beach. You don't know where that is?
Haven't you seen the commercials with the hang gliding or whatever, the balloon or something? I don't know. Interesting.
Are there commercials for Virginia Beach?
I'm not sure.
Oh, mm-hmm.
It is. Oh, okay.
Okay, so thinking from a commercial standpoint, if there was a monument, or not necessarily a monument, but an image of this area that you would want the world to see, what would that image be?
Ooh.
So like in Norfolk, it could be the USS Wisconsin, for example. What would you, if you were describing a commercial of this area, what would be that monumental thing that you would want this area to see? Tim, we'll start with you.
I would probably show the oceanfront of Virginia Beach. I think that's
I agree.
Of Virginia, of America, of North America.
Yeah.
Got it.
I would do downtown Norfolk.
Just the skyline?
Like Ghent?
No, more so. Yeah.
I would probably do like a drone, over Virginia Beach, the oceanfront area, like at night though, to make it seem cool.
Can't do it during the day. That's what
Mr.
all
Need.
the do.
I
You gotta
don't,
fly
I
during the
don't,
day.
I don't know what he said.
Mr. Need, what? Say it again.
Yeah, you gotta fly a drone at night. Like, you can't do it during the daytime. That's when all like the regular people do it. You gotta be like cool. It's like
That's not
Unique.
true.
Yeah,
That's not true.
sure.
And what would your image be?
wait, did you say me?
Yeah.
Oh, I agreed with Tim. I would just say the oceanfront.
hmm
Okay. Megan?
I mean, probably the oceanfront makes the most sense, but in your initial question, I wanted to say Kempsville.
Always selling the
I
brand.
thought about that too.
I love Kempsville. I'm born and raised here and still live here with my family.
Have you ever
It's
thought
a
about
great
leaving?
place.
Have you ever thought about leaving?
I mean, I went to school at Virginia Tech, so I did leave.
That doesn't count. Ashley, Ashley, what would your monument be, if you will?
Similar to what Miss Timlin said, I thought about Kempsville and then I was like, I guess that's not everybody's world like it is mine. So really like the ocean front, like where King Neptune is, that kind of area.
Okay, so you guys are all basically at the same answer. Interesting. Not very unique there, huh, Evan?
Mm.
Give me a break. You're putting me on a pedestal or something.
You're the one who was self-proclaimed to be unique, even though that word was given to you.
So that I was the unique one. I'm just here, and people are labeling me things. So I'm just trying to live my life, man. Jeez.
What's it like being in a classroom with him as such a?
I don't think. Oh, I mean, Miss Houchins, I think, is the only one that's actually like been my teacher. So I think you're the only one that can attest.
You really have to anticipate his questions. We've only been in school for, I think this is like day 7. And I feel like every direction I give, Evan challenges it. And a lot of times he challenges things that I didn't really think about. Sometimes he challenges things and my answer is, Evan, I need you to follow the directions. But he really does look at things from like a real world perspective. Like I asked the teams, I said, every single team member needs to turn this into me on our Schoology, like on our platform. And Evan was like, is it really necessary? Like, it's the same, we're doing it together. Do we all have to turn it in? If this were a real business, like, wouldn't, as long as one person got it, submitted, isn't that fine? And so then I was like, okay, it makes you think as a teacher, like, about the decisions you make.
I'm glad I can hold you accountable, Ms. Houchins. Also, can you, so I don't sound like a babbling idiot, can you tell Zack that like the company, like I explained Hey You to you, like it works, right? Like it's good.
You talking about the song from Pink Floyd?
No, not the song, Zack. I'm talking about my new social
the app that's going to connect people.
Yeah.
Layers that people that are engaged don't understand.
Perfect.
Perfect. I mean, if I was a judge judging you, I'd probably give you like a 3.7 out of 10 for that.
It wasn't good. I mean, no, you're right. I didn't really have a game plan.
You didn't practice it a little bit, maybe.
Well, I mean, I haven't. I barely finished the business model for it, so it's, I'm having a little bit of difficulty just sort of explaining it, but. Maybe if you were like 20 years younger, I might be able to sort of, explain it in an easier manner. Miss Houchins got it. Miss Houchins.
Evan.
Yes.
That's enough.
We don't all wear clip-on ties, Mr. Need. It's okay.
Excuse me. This is not a clip-on tie.
Tim, what do you think about all this?
It's been the funnest show that we've had thus far.
There you go. Anything else that we haven't talked about that any of you guys want to make a point on or talk about?
We did something cool. We graduated from Kempsville, and your senior year you have to do an internship. So we got a BCI intern from Kempsville.
Oh, my dear.
And it was like the best decision we ever made. She definitely embodies everything that we learned from Kempsville.
Yes.
You guys did a good job.
Very cool. What is it like, Ashley and Megan, seeing your kind of students look back and say something like that? I mean, it seems pretty. Don't get all emotional. Don't come on. We don't want to see you cry on this one, and we know that happens. But like, looking back at something like that and realizing that you can make impacts like that. I mean, it's what goes through your mind when you hear something like that.
I mean, it's just really amazing. It's kind of when this was just something on paper that we were proposing that we wanted to do here at Kempsville. It's amazing to see it come to fruition through these students, and just it's everything that we wanted it to be at this point. And certainly we can improve, but it's so amazing to hear.
Is there something that you guys had gone through that you really thought was going to work one way, and that you've realized, hey, this is completely the wrong way, and had to axe it?
I don't know that we've axed it, but like pretty much everything along the way. TT and Mayana went through a lot of that. Pretty much everything gets tweaked as they went through it, and we continue to do that. And honestly, I mean, to be good educators and people, we're going to constantly do that, I hope, or otherwise we're not appealing to the students who are sitting in our classrooms. But, I mean, can you pinpoint something we axed? There's much that goes on. I mean, definitely our internship program, which is like our senior capstone piece, has been very complicated, and PT and Mayana were the first to go through it, and it was very complicated when they went through it, and then it got shut down in March, and now we're doing an internship program virtually, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. So,
I'm glad that I could, assist the school by, having my own senior intern.
Yes.
I'm glad that
Evan has taken an intern as a sophomore. He had a senior intern work with Planting Shade.
Yeah. And I have actually another one. I've Hannah Ruffin working for me this year. So
we appreciate your service.
Thank you. I'm glad I could help.
Evan, if I gave you 10 seconds to pitch that business again, would you like to?
Ooh, can we do it like the next time we have this show, or do you want me to do it like right now? Like,
hey, hard pass is what I'm hearing. It's okay.
He gave you the opportunity.
Okay. Can I here? Wait, just give me a second. I have like a whiteboard in my room, so just give me a second. So,
this is great, Tim. It's definitely been fun.
It has been a lot of fun, and I have a lot more questions, but we're running out of time.
It's interesting. I wonder if I would have found business entrepreneurship had I gone through something like this in my 9 through 12 years, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade years, if I would have found it anyway, because we did find it, obviously, but it's interesting because it didn't happen the way through this. All right, Evan, you ready? 10 seconds. Ready to go?
Okay, so it is an app or social network where you can meet new friends in your area. It's organized through 3 different levels depending on the different relationship preferences which you choose. That's pretty much it.
And it has no name because he forgot to mention it. But
well,
that's okay.
My apologies. Anyway, it's called Hey You. It has 3 Y's, HEYYYU. So it makes sense, Miss Timlin. All right, don't look at me like that.
But no, why 3 Y's?
It's because the different levels are different Y's.
Oh.
Yeah.
the old we're not in that generation to understand it.
Like okay, TT Mayana, like you guys get like when someone texts you with like hey with 1 Y or hey with 2 Y's, like it means something else. Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. See.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like if it's like 3 Y's, they like you or something. Yeah.
I learned something new.
Yeah. I mean, I like for so many Y's.
It's really like a 13 to 17-year-old thing, but luckily that's my target market.
13.
Yeah. So that's
kind of young.
Oh, do you guys I have this I came up with this earlier. It's really funny. This is how I'm actually going to introduce the pitch. It'll take like 30 seconds. Can I do that? It's really funny.
You know what? I'm going to give him 30 seconds and then we'll
all right, give me a second. I got to pull it up. Give me a second. Okay, give me a second. So imagine there's like a green screen behind me, which is all red, and it says the word human connection on it. Just give me a second. There's like this terrible advertisement, which is really annoying. Give me a second. All right, 2, 1. Okay, all right, we're good now. All right. Give me a second. All right.
We've given you 27 extra seconds, by the way, counting them.
Human connection, the defining factor that separates man from beast. But where's a kid to find human connection these days? All of our summer camps were canceled, our extracurriculars have been postponed, and school isn't back in session, at least not in person. So what's the solution? Introducing the revolutionary technology. Hey, you. Okay, so that's it. Anyway, and then I can explain.
Minus that 10-second ad in the beginning where,
Say that again?
the ad that started that, minus that was
Yeah, minus that. Did you like it? Yeah.
far superior than the other pitches that you've done.
So
Congratulations.
thank you.
Well, folks, it's been a lot of fun. Evan, great job on your last pitch. Megan, Tiana, Mayana, Tim, Ashley. This has been our first 7-person feed. So thank you guys for doing this. If someone was interested and they live in Virginia Beach or thinking about moving to Virginia Beach and they are in the they have to be in 7th or 8th grade to apply?
8th grade, 9th grade.
8th grade, 9th grade, and they want to get into entrepreneurship and business. Look up what?
Kempsville High School on the web, or email me, megan.timlin@vbschools.com.
There it is.
If you want to donate to BCI, it's BCI nonprofit on everything.
Always be selling.
That's right.
Love it. And we've heard Evan's pitch enough, so we don't have to do anything. Soon, Hey You will be available on the App Store.
A with 3 Y's, you.
Yeah.
And at some point, listen to that song by Pink Floyd. Thank you guys for being with us. Until next week, we'll see you guys soon. I'm Zach Miller.